All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we talk about a little adventure I took with my parents this past weekend, the implications of that adventure, and I reveal my biggest business venture mistake. Plus some current events, plus how do I say this? A potential jaw-dropping, shocking Cage fact, potentially. All that's coming up right now. All right, jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti. It's the show about nothing that finds the lessons and the entertainment and the fun and everything. Hope everybody had a good week. Mine was pretty okay. Not terribly eventful, which is fine. I got a lot of work done going through my success list to continue to progress forward in pursuit of my goals and dreams and hopes and what have yous. I'm trying to think if anything crazy went on. Nothing too crazy, which is good. Which I guess that's good. Sometimes when you don't have anything to talk about when it comes to your week recap, it's not a bad thing. And I know there's a lot of people out there who have a lot more hurdles to jump and obstacles to get over in their weeks, in their daily weeks, but in their week recaps, that they realize it's tough weeks that they've had. Luckily for me right now, I'm doing pretty well, and I hope you guys are too. I used to get mad and annoyed if I had a boring, uneventful week. It was one of those, like, why can't my life be more exciting? Why can't I do more of this? Why can't I have more fun like everybody else seems to be having? And this is before the social media craze where people started posting only the good things in their lives, or even if there was staged good things to make it look like they lived this perfect, eventful, successful, rich life or whatever. So before that, I used to think being bored and having boring, uneventful things going on in your life meant, you're a loser. You're not successful. You don't got anything good going on in life. So, but I realized probably longer than a little while ago, I guess you can say that that's not the case at all. In fact, I love boring weeks. As long as there's progress and forward movement and pushing to the right here, this is right on screen in YouTube land. This is my right in real life. So it's going to look left in the YouTube video. But as long as there's movement to the right and you're pushing to the right and there's forward progress, that's fine by me. I don't need super eventful weeks to occur, because that creates a lot of extra stuff that you got to deal with. Extra emotions, extra effort, extra clean, extra preparation, maybe, whatever it may be. That excitement should not be every day for me. And I'm speaking for myself here now, folks. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but if I have an exciting, eventful thing going on every day, that would be exhausting for me at this point. I like living right here, okay, with the occasional blips of excitement, which I can curate myself. And that's a 2-syllable word, but it is a big sounding word. Curate, which means I can make that shit up myself. I can come up with my own ideas. I just said the S word. I hope it was after 5 minutes, or YouTube's really going to get mad at me, so maybe I'll censor it. but I can go and find exciting things to do to get that excitement blip on my radar whenever I want. I don't need it to constantly flood my life every day. So all that's to say, I had a pleasantly uneventful week. And I hope you guys did too. And I hope you guys continue to learn, grow, and improve. We're going to talk about the one event that I did have this past week in the Junction and the business blunder I realized because of it. But first, we'll get into some current events. I'm trying to think. Ooh, there might be a delay in the video. I'm looking at my screen right now as we're recording live. So in YouTube land, if you don't see a delay, that means either it was fixed in editing or there wasn't an issue to begin with. And if you do see a delay, I don't have the ability to fix it. So there's a delay. Sorry. Anyway, current events. The only real thing to discuss is there only one thing? Let me think here real quick. Yeah, I think there's only one thing worth discussing in current events, and that is the recent baseball winter meetings and the Yankees trading for Juan Soto from the San Diego Padres and also getting Alex Verdugo from the Boston Red Sox. Now, a couple things with these moves here, okay? One, I'm not mad about the moves. Okay, this is not to say I'm not here to bitch about that particular thing at all. There were a lot of Yankee fans getting mad because the Yankees traded Michael King, a pitcher, as part of the deal for Juan Soto. They actually traded like 5 pitchers and Kyle Higashioka, who was a catcher with the team for a couple years. I think he was a catcher with the team for like 5 years in the pros and 10 years in the minors, something like that. So he was with the Yankees for 15 years, but he stinks. I love him, but he stinks. Anyway, a couple of fans were up in arms about how Michael King, I can't believe you got rid of Michael King. He's awesome, this and that. And I don't care about Michael King. Okay. And you shouldn't care either. If you're a Yankee fan, you shouldn't care either. The guy had 7 decent starts last year towards the end of the season. They were very good. He shoved for a good portion of that year. But he's got 2 years left of Yankees control on him. Who's to say if he's going to have 2 years of shoving up batters, what's, like he did at the end of this season? He's also, I think, if I remember correctly, he's usually a relief pitcher that they switched over to the starting role, something like that. The baseball minds can correct me. Creature, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. So to take a gamble on easily a top 10, maybe a top 5 hitter in the MLB in Juan Soto for 1 year, a contract year, mind you. And we've talked about this in the past. When players are on their contract year, or some call it the walk year, they do work, okay? They do work because they want to get that sweet, sweet deal, that sweet contract signed next year and for years to come. And Juan Soto is going to be on that year coming up. So he wants that money. And if he sucks, he's not going to get that money. All right. And if you don't believe me on contract years, this is for Yankee fans specifically, go look at Aaron Judge. Look at his contract year. Okay. And then look at his next year. Contract year, full season, 62 home runs. Everybody was on his shit. Year after his contract year, he missed 50 plus games. He still had good stats. I'll say that. He still had good stats. He had 37 home runs. I think he still had the most home runs and RBIs on the team, and he only played like 102 games. But Juan Soto's on his contract year. The other pitchers that the Yankees gave up were really nobodies. Jim Thorpe. It's not Jim Thorpe. It's something Thorpe. Alex Thorpe, maybe. Ryan Thorpe. Jim Thorpe is a renowned Native American athlete from way back in the day. Unrivaled sports talent, Olympic talent, football talent. This is not that guy. All right, this is not that guy. This is just another pitcher. I guess he was pretty good too. And then they got rid of Johnny Brito and something Vasquez. These were guys that the Yankees picked up for pennies and are getting rid of. They're losing nothing by getting rid of these guys. Okay. And the Padres are essentially getting a decent pitcher in Michael King, who could have the potential to be really good, or he could be a stinker. There's a big gamble on Michael King. The other guys, all right. And Higashioka, nice guy. Really nice looking swing. He stinks though. Okay. He can't hit the ball out of the ballpark unless he's in Yankee Stadium with the short porch. So for Juan Soto, that's a good deal. Okay. The Alex Verdugo thing, I'm pretty sure they just got him. I don't know what they traded for him, if anything. I didn't see anything worthy of commenting on who the Yankees got rid of. So I wonder if it was just money or something like that. Maybe they picked up his contract. I don't know. He's okay too. He's not terrible. He shouldn't hurt the Yankees too bad, is what I'll say. And again, the baseball experts, the creatures of the land, the bullpen GMs, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if you have better insight, which I know you do. I don't think he's going to be a problem for the Yankees. I don't know how good he's going to be for them. I know he's coming off a couple of questionable efforts over the recent years. So we'll see how that goes. But the Yankees are making moves in the right direction. Now they have to solidify some pitching because they lost some pitchers. They lost Domingo Germán, that other wife beater, Cordero. They lost Luis Severino to free agency. They got rid of Michael King. Who knows what they're going to do with the other pitchers on the team. Rodon stinks. So they need to fill the void with pitching. So hopefully they get that Yamamoto fella and some other pitchers. I know Clayton Kershaw's a free agent. I know they won't get him. Maybe they will because he's older and people think he's over the hill. And that's what the Yankees usually do, is they get over the hill guys. I don't know. But they got to get some pitching. I'm not mad about the moves. But here's what I will say, though. Okay? Because I like to hate Cashman. I like to dog on Cashman because he does not deserve free passes for his efforts over the last 20 years, practically, except for 2009. I'm, again, happy about the moves. They're good moves in the right direction. There's too many people who are thinking that he's redeemed himself. Oh, Cashman's back, baby, this and that. The Yankees are back because we made two moves. Let's be honest. Okay? They're going to walk Judge a lot. They're going to walk Juan Soto a lot. And then they're going to hope for the other 7 batters on the team to do what they did last year and bat under 200. So they got work to do. So he didn't totally redeem himself. Okay? But he did make some good moves. And here's what I'll say about these moves. If I'm going to criticize anything about Brian Cashman, it's going to be this. Okay? When that little weasel got out there in front of the press a couple weeks ago and started ranting and raving and blaming everybody else for the team's lack of success. Everybody else, it was their fault but his. And then he goes on to say, I think the team is pretty effing good. And he said it with a force and aggression, and he said full F. And I'm not saying full F because I don't know if I've been blabbering on for 5 minutes or not. I don't want to get the YouTube strike. I also know Terrence is on, so I'll probably drop a couple F-bombs later on by accident. But he said full F. Pretty effing good. And he was adamant about it. Now, this is where the criticism comes in. Okay. If he actually believed the bullshit he was slinging, he would not have made the moves that he just made, in my 1 cent opinion. Okay. So I'm happy he actually doesn't believe that garbage, but he needs to be called out for saying that garbage. Okay. And for all the things that he was flapping his gills about in that press conference in the winter meetings, calling out Giancarlo Stanton, saying that the coaching staff is awesome, the analytics guys are awesome, the team's awesome, but they stink and it's not anybody's fault. They just happen to stink. It was a fluke that they stink. Give me a break, dude. You need to be held accountable for that. Okay? Whether you lied just to back the team up or what, I don't know what your motives were behind saying that crap, but clearly you don't believe the BS you're slinging. And this is a cautionary tale to all you fans out there to stop believing what he and Hal Steinbrenner keep slinging to us. I say you, but us. I'm a fan too. Uh-oh. Stand by. All right. Sorry about that, folks. Here's what we had. When somebody comes to the door, my dog gets excited. Okay? Especially when it's my parents or somebody he knows, he gets excited and he wants to go see what's going on. And then you have my parents' dog also up there. So my dog has to go peacocking around and he needs to get all the attention and it causes problems. And my parents are not strong enough, I guess. I'm just going to say they're not strong enough to hold my dog back and do the training or continue to do the maneuvers, the training maneuvers for him to learn when I'm not up there. When I'm up there, we work on the training techniques that we're practicing with him to get him to calm down faster and all that stuff. They can't do that because he's strong, he's athletic, and they revert back to their old ways of training and reacting to people. And it creates what I call the opposite effect. Okay. It creates chaos and mayhem. And I don't know if you heard it before, but you heard the barking and the running around up top, and you can hear them stomping and yelling at each other and stuff. And it's the opposite of what you want. And I don't blame my parents. Okay. They're older folks. All right. They're in what you would call the geriatric age. Okay. I don't expect them to change their ways for my stinky dog. All right. Or how I want to do things with my training regimen for my pets and future kids if I have kids that I have to train. I get it. I don't expect them to do that. So I'm not mad at them. It's not their fault at all. But it's just a little humorous. I mean, mainly because nobody's getting hurt. But it's just a little humorous that they are doing the same thing every time. They're devolving into chaos. They're yelling. They're doing all the Italian stuff that you do. And it's making the problems worse. It's not making the problem better. It's not helping the situations at all, ever. So you would think, at what point do they realize, hey, this is not working. My approach and being Italian is not working. I got to do something different. I don't know. I'm going to let them figure that out. They're adults. They can figure that out themselves. They're adults. Anyway, that's what we were dealing with just now. And I completely lost my train of thought. We were talking about Cashman and how we need to call him on his BS. And the fans of the Yankees have to understand that you can't believe anything that comes out of that guy's mouth at all. Okay? When he says, oh, don't worry, we got the good team now. We're competitive. We're trying to win a World Series. Don't believe it. It's malarkey. It's a lie. They only care about profit, and profit. Okay? And the way to do that is to not spend money on big name players, because that takes money out of their pockets in the short run. Because they only care about short-term successes, financial success, not long-term success of the team and the actual finances of the team. They only care about short-term wins. How are we going to line our pockets even more each and every year? Okay, so I am happy by these moves, but it further proves that Cashman just talks out of both sides of his mouth. He can't be trusted. He really needs to go. Honestly, he really needs to go. I don't care that he made this good move. It's one move. I know this is what people do. They totally, justify his existence, and it gives him an extra 5 or 10 years on his contract, essentially, because he made one decent move. But make no mistake about it. The Yankees don't care about winning a World Series anymore. They care about making money and spending as little as possible. Okay? All they have to do is be slightly above 500 to be competitive for a playoff, berth. And then if they make the playoffs, that's it. They're good. Then they tell us as fans to shut up. Hey, we made the playoffs. Clearly we're trying. Well, in reality, they're not. They're playing the game just like the other owners are. Most of the other owners are. And frankly, it's up to us as fans to start to realize that. So if you see dog shit playing and dog shit effort and dog shit coaching again this year from the Yankees, and nothing's being done about it, but Brian Cashman trying to blame us, why I don't understand why you're so angry. Or Hal saying the same thing. I don't get why everyone's angry at us. When this happens again, and it will, stop going to the games. Stop watching it on TV. Stop giving them the viewership. Stop buying the merch. Stop giving me your hard-earned money. Stop wasting your time. And that will send the message. For whatever reason, there is still too many Yankee fans that are stupid enough to want to get stuck in traffic to go to the stadium and spend $45 on a hot dog and a water, which they got from the sewer, just to watch the Yankees suck. Watch everybody strike out 4 times and sit and smile and laugh about it in the dugout. Stop going to the games if they suck, if they continue to suck, and we're not getting any headway with our GM and owners. All right, that's all I have to say about that. I think that's the only current event I got. There's no other current events to speak of besides, dog chaos as usual. So we'll get right into the good stuff, and we'll step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Holiday Hunks and Home Fries. Ladies, are you looking to have a holiday bachelorette party or even a little girls' weekend? Hang on. All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Holiday Hunks and Home Fries. Ladies, are you looking to have a holiday bachelorette party or even a nice girls' weekend before the end of the year, and you want to wake up to the fresh smell of coffee and breakfast being made in the kitchen of your Airbnb by a couple of mankini-cladded, spatula-slinging, cheeked-up hunks? Then book a breakfast adventure with the Holiday Hunks and Home Fries today. The Holiday Hunks will come over first thing in the morning with all the breakfast goodies you want. Then when you least expect it, they'll tear off their velour tracksuits and helicopter PPU into a hypnosis, then bring you back to life with a dynamite breakfast platter. So to book a scandalous scrambled eggs adventure with flapjack, sausage sal, hash brown Horsham, and the rest of the Holiday Hunks today, call 1-800-SPANK-ME and use the promo code HOTSTOVE to get 29% off your weekend adventure. I'm gonna try to find an effective way to put this clip in, but the original sponsor ad was very dangerous to read. Okay, little girls' weekend. That is not what it was supposed to say. So we're gonna try to clip that effectively, but also realize it is not part of the sponsor read. There is no little girls' weekend to be had with the holiday hunks. That's inappropriate. That's predatory. That's pedophilia, and we're not doing it here. All right. I got to find a way to make that look funny. I know I'm not a funny guy, but that was a funny misread. And it's a joke. It's not real. We don't want little girls' weekends. So I don't know. Look, it was funny. All right. Anyway, case fact. Can you guys hear this stupid chair is squeaking? I can't even live normally. I can't exist and move around. I have to be a robot and stand still. This squeaks and creaks. I gotta go find some WD-40. It's driving me nuts. I hope you guys don't have to hear it as much as I do down here. Anyway, the Cage fact. We talked about in a previous Cage fact about how after his 60th birthday, he is planning to spend more time on his family, with his family, and all that stuff, and probably make less movies. Well, he went further into specifics of that and said he's done basically everything he was looking to do in film. He's not completely done yet, but he says maybe 4 to 6 more movies before he calls it a day. Now, before I read further, I freaked out because 4 to 6 movies is 1 calendar year for Nic Cage. So I was like, oh my God, we only got 1 more year of Cage and that's it. But he said he's going to slow down the pace drastically. He's going to pick the movies with a lot more scrutiny so that it's going to be more, it sounds like it's going to be more similar to like a Quentin Tarantino situation where he said, I'm only going to make 10 movies or 11 movies or however many movies he set out to do. And that's it. Then his career is over. So he spread them out throughout, however many years, 20, 30 years. I don't know how long. When was his first movie out? A long time ago. So that's what Nic Cage sounds like he's going to do. He said he might get into other things like Broadway. He might get into television. He doesn't know. But he is creating a plan of action to ride off into the sunset into retirement. He does want to end on a bang, he said, though. Look, as bittersweet as it might be, when Nic Cage says he's going to end on a bang, arguably, hello, I can't talk right now. Arguably, it could be the best movie to ever hit cinema. So that would be a bittersweet moment. That would be exciting to see, but also sad. And like I just said, bittersweet for the 15th time. So anyway, that's the Cage fact. There you go. We'll move on over to the junction. We'll spin the logo up. I went on an adventure with my folks last week, a few weeks ago. It doesn't matter when. It was on a weekend. Doesn't matter when. The adventure was first told to me or sold to me as an errand. And I guess technically it wasn't errands they were running. And then as I continued to ask questions what the errand was, I found out and I'll caveat, I found out a couple days before we were going, so I wasn't completely surprised, but the errand was they were driving to the cemetery where my grandparents are laid to rest to go reserve their stuff, their final resting place, if you will. So, and the reason that they were going the weekend that they wanted to go was because there was a coupon in the mail from the cemetery offering sweet holiday deals on grave sites, on tombs, whatever you want to call them. So, so they had to jump on that deal. I think it was actually a Black Friday deal. But because we were dealing with some other stuff that same weekend, my mother called up the crypt keeper, I guess you can call them, and said, "Hey, we can't make it this weekend. Can we come by and still use this coop?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's fine. You called ahead. You were ready to come, but family stuff happened, whatever." So we went all down. We drove down in the morning. It was a rainy day. It was rainy and cold, just as you expect it to be when you're going into a cemetery. Okay. And we sat down with this lady, and all we could do, at least all I could do, was just make as many jokes as possible, because you're buying your tomb. You're reserving your tomb spot. Your dead, lifeless corpse and skeleton are going to be in there forever. Okay? Forever. Longer than your life existence on this planet, that thing will be in there. You are buying your final resting spot. So I can't imagine it's a very happy occasion when you're out there deciding on where you want to be shoved into the ground, or pushed into a drawer in the wall. So when I get into those situations, and this is something that we were taught at war, you just make all the jokes possible, to the point where it's almost uncomfortable for other people around you. And that's what we do. And that's what I tried to do. Everything was a joke. There was always an opportunity to make a morbid joke. Of course, we're in a cemetery. Everybody's already dead. Okay? The jokes write themselves, folks. So I was killing it. I wish I had a recording. I would have put out a YouTube special on all these dead jokes that I was making. And my parents were getting a chuckle out of it. So, even though they were trying to be serious, and the crypt keeper lady, she was very nice. She was trying to be serious. There was chuckles. Okay. They were holding it in. These jokes were, I don't want to say it, but these jokes were killing. Okay. The only people left alive with a heartbeat in that whole compound, they got the jokes. They were funny. All right. And that's all you can do in this situation. But they were able to secure a spot, and my mom made it a point to make sure that they were close neighbors, not direct neighbors, but close in the neighborhood, same community as my grandparents, so that it'd be easier for us as kids to go visit and hit both spots, both drawers, tombs, whatever. I don't care that much, because if I'm there, it doesn't matter if one person's tomb is in one corner and the other person's tomb is all the way in the other corner. I'm obviously going to go and visit both of them. I'm already there. Okay, I'm inside in the gated area. It would be, and I'm never going to be like, oh man, I really wish they were closer together. Now I have to drive an extra 37 seconds to get over here. No, we're fine. But they were courteous when asking, like, oh, what do you think about this spot? Are you mad if it's outside and this and that? It's like, no, I don't. Whatever makes them happy. I'm trying to be not empathetic, not really understanding, but accommodating. It's literally, it's their funeral. Whatever they want, we're gonna do. Okay. And I know you're trying to be courteous. You don't want us to be out in the rain if we want to visit and walk a lot, but we're going to a cemetery. Okay. If you're dead and we're going to visit, it's not an exciting occasion. It's not like, oh, I can't wait to go see my dead parents and put stones on their gravestones or whatever, or do the sign of the cross on their drawer, their mausoleum drawer, if they got that. It's not a happy occasion, okay? Nobody gets excited to go visit their dead at the cemetery. So I don't care if it's raining. I don't care if it's cold and windy. We're going for a different reason. We're not going there to lay out and have a picnic like some creeps do. And I know the whole symbol of like, oh, well, I'm eating with him, I'm sharing. It's a dead body. Their soul is gone. Their soul is somewhere else watching over you. Okay? And they're wherever you are. Okay? And you should take solace in that. You should be happy and understanding and take solace and have peace with the fact that their soul is not in that crusty, disgusting old body that is shriveling up and getting eaten by maggots 6 feet under. They're up there watching. They're having the time of their lives, their deaths, whatever. And they're having lunch with you wherever you're having lunch. So you don't need to have a weirdo, morbid, seance-y looking picnic literally on top of a dead body. Okay? Find a better way. Get a picture of your man, of your loved one, whoever it may be, and put it next to you in your kitchen. There'll be more present there than their dead, lifeless corpse withering away in a coffin in a cement tomb 6 feet in the ground. All right. So we're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I can't speak for the rest of the Librettis and in our circus act. They could do it. They can go have picnics, whatever they want to do. I'm not doing it. I'm not having a picnic. So I couldn't care less if it's outside and it's cold and rainy. I'll get an umbrella. Okay. I'll pay my respects. I'm not sitting there all day. And then I'll leave. Or I'll have a picture of you and I'll pay my respects wherever I am in the world. I'll bring the picture with me and the respects will be paid and we can picnic together. And if it's raining, I'll just move you to inside my own house or wherever I'm at. And there'll be respects and courtesies and memories and looking down upon or looking up upon. And we'll have a grand old time. We don't have to worry about the elements and the inconvenience of the cemetery. Okay? You will be remembered. We will come visit. And it doesn't matter where you're located. We're still going to do it. So you don't need to be courteous. You can be selfish. And in fact, this brings me to my next point, and this is we always try to be better. We always try to be, we always try to learn from our mistakes. We always try to learn, grow, and improve overall here at the LPDS. Would you agree? To do that, though, we have to admit when we make mistakes. And hand up, I made a mistake. Okay? I should have, instead of creating a leadership consulting company and using my skills and what I actually enjoy doing to help people, I should have done something different. Okay? And here's the bottom line. Well, what I should have done, easy, Randy, what I should have done was opened up a cemetery. Okay? I should have taken out a small business loan. I should have bought a plot of land, gated around it, tilled the fields, made it look all nice, built a couple of mausoleum buildings, big, tall, and wide buildings to stack bodies. And I should have run the cemetery. Because let me tell you something. The cost of real estate at a cemetery is criminal. It's criminal. And there's nothing you can do about it. Because if you don't pay their prices, you know what they tell you to do? Go be buried somewhere else. We don't need you. Okay? And then you go to another cemetery and they have the same prices for the same crap. All right? And you know why? Because the vast majority of the cemeteries, at least on the religious side, are all linked up by the same diocese of the church. And I imagine they do something similar with the Jewish churches and the Muslim cemeteries, not churches, cemeteries. They're all in cahoots with the big organization, and they control the prices. So if you don't like it, too bad. You're not getting buried. You can go dig a hole in your own yard and bury yourself. It is the biggest racket going, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. It's a bigger racket than the car dealerships, who are all secretly owned by the same family in a particular town or region. Toyota, Honda, Chrysler, Chevy, Cadillac. They're all owned by the same people, and then they're backed by the government. They're protected by the government in that area. So they monopolize the world. So if you argue with them and say, I'm going to go buy somewhere else, they're like, go ahead, buy somewhere else. And then you go over to that other dealership, it's the same guy with a different color suit on. That's what the cemetery game is. That's what the gravestone plots. That's what that all is. It's all a scam. And it's an expensive scam. Okay? It's an expensive scam. This cemetery, really nice looking. Okay? Nice grass, good landscaping, big cemetery. So landscaping will probably run you a decent amount of money. Decent amount. Okay? But that's all you got to do. That's all you have to do is landscape. You just have to mow the lawn. Okay? Everything else gets paid for by the family of the dead. The digging up of graves, the setting up of stones, all that is paid for. So all you got to pay for is the landscaping. So you shouldn't have to charge that much money for a hole in the ground. It's crazy. This place, this cemetery had mausoleum buildings. And if you don't know what a mausoleum is, it's where you can go in there inside a building and they have a drawer in the wall and they shove you in the drawer and they close the drawer with a piece of marble or granite and they carve your name in there. They don't even carve your name in anymore. They just put letters on there. You buy per letter. And it just says, here lies Mickey Sticks. Here lies JPL. Here lies Anthony Rigatoni. Dead. And you live in that drawer. So if you don't like being in the ground, you don't want the maggots coming after you, you can go live in the drawer. But what they also have now, and this might be the scam of scams, folks. Okay? So here, let me paint you a little picture here. For prime real estate mausoleums, okay, we're talking eye level or lower on the wall. I guess that's what prime real estate is. So it's close, so you can go and touch it if you want to touch. I don't know why. I don't know why prices are different. I don't know why people need to. I guess so it's easier to see and talk to if it's eye level as opposed to all the way up top. Personally, if I had to do that, I would be up top in the ivory tower so I could see all and have the vantage point. That's how you win battles. High ground. Always high ground. All right. Anyway, the prime real estate for mausoleums in this cemetery, and likely most others around the country, was a minimum $15,000. Okay. That's just for the hole in the wall. All right. You got to pay for your lettering separately. You got to pay to open the damn thing up separately. You got to pay for the services separately. You got to pay for the box you're in inside the drawer separately. Okay? And that stuff's not cheap either. So anyway, $15,000 minimum. That was the cheapest one on the prime real estate side because they had different sizes and different areas of prime real estate. There's a prime real estate area, and then there's prime spots. Okay. So within the prime real estate area, the worst spot in the area was $15,000. Okay. Follow me here, fellas. They have this new thing in mausoleums. Maybe it's new, maybe it's not. It's the first time I've seen it. I don't really frequent cemeteries. Like I said, I'm not going to have picnics there. But they have this thing inside the buildings where now they have display cases on the wall. Certain parts of the mausoleum where there's not other dead people in the wall, they have these openings in the wall, and they have clear display cases. It looks like cabinets or shelves with a clear, like a display, like if you got a baseball signed by Mickey Mantle and you want to display it on that, it's a clear plastic encasing. For people to put their cremated loved ones in there in nice urns to display the urns. And then there's a little sign in there that says, "Here lies Sausage Sal. He was a good egg." And you can go and do that if you don't want to have the urn at your own house or whatever it may be. Guess how much the tiny display cases are? And we're talking like there may be a foot high by 2 feet wide display cases. They're also $15,000 for just the case. You got to pay for the cremation separately. You got to burn the body separately. You got to buy the urn separately. And then you got to pay for the little sign separately. And also, there is an opening fee whenever you open the case to put another urn in case you got another loved one dropping dead. $15,000 for a plastic display case on a wall. Non-negotiable. What are we doing here, folks? Business folks, entrepreneurs. Why haven't we joined forces to start buying and building and owning cemeteries? Dying's recession-proof, folks. I got news for you. You hate to say it, but dying is recession-proof. Dying is pandemic-proof. Dying is everything proof. Okay? There is nothing that this world can do, this economy can do, that's going to slow down dying. Right now, anyway. Okay? So from a business standpoint, you got job security for life. You're always going to have an income. Okay? Because people are always going to die. And it sounds morbid and sad, and it sounds shitty to think about it, like, oh, you're thinking about business, not human beings. I'm not the one who thought about this. I'm kicking myself for it, but I'm not the one who thought of this. Okay? You know who did, though? Who's running this scam right now? The churches. The churches that own regulatory purview over these cemeteries. I don't know how it works. I know people are going to give me heat for blaming churches for this. I'm not saying don't be religious. I'm not saying they're the devil. Please don't think that you can believe whatever you want, have faith in whatever you want. I have my own faith. I grew up Catholic. All right. So who am I to say don't follow the church? I do whatever you want. Okay. I welcome it all. Everybody is welcome here in the LPDS. That's not what I'm saying. But they caught on to the business aspect of it. Okay. They saw that people are dying. Okay. And they need a place to be dead. That's not, I guess, in your basement. And they're cleaning it up from it. And I don't know what the money goes to. I don't know if all the money goes to. I mean, I'm sure they've got to pay salaries of the people working there. The lady who helped us out. You got to pay for the upkeep and the landscaping. And obviously you got to pay for when it's time to do dig ups and put stones and arch and etch letters in. But those are all paid separately by the families anyway. So I want to know where the rest of that money goes. Maybe the mortgage on the land. I don't know. But we were in the one building alone. Had to have 500 spots. At least. And we're talking, let's be conservative here, minimum. Okay, let's cut out total minimum price, $10,000 per spot times 500. Do that math. What is that? 500 times 10,000. 1, 2, 3, 4. 500. Is it 500,000 or 50,000? 500,000. Is it 500? Now I'm really in trouble here, folks. I can't do head math anymore. Is that a real thing too? Head math? 500 times 10,000. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, 2 zeros, 500,000. Yeah, I'm confident it's 500,000. $500,000 for one building. This place had 4 buildings. Okay, and that's the minimum. Don't forget, I was not counting the display cases, and I was not taking into account the fact that the lowest price shit that they got there is 10,000. That's the lowest of the low end drawers and tombs in there. Okay, but we already know that the display cases for the ashes are 15. And we already know that the lowest of the prime real estate is 15. And that goes up in price as you get to better real estate slots. Okay? So think about that. We're talking upwards of $1 million a building just to reserve a spot there. That doesn't include the cost of the box and the opening and closing and the lettering and all that shit. It also doesn't include the graves outside in the field. So, big time money. That's all I'm saying. Big time money. And I can, again, hand up, I can admit when I made a mistake in business to try to get better. And I should have done more investigating into recession-proof business ventures. Like dying. Because they are cleaning up. Okay? And don't even get me started on the people who would like this if they hire sleazy salesmen to prey on your emotions, to make you feel bad about not spending more money on the nicest stuff ever. Get a bigger tombstone. Put a whole obituary in lettering on the mausoleum. $16 a letter. Don't worry about it. That's what they would have wanted. Don't you want to take care of them in their final hours? I'll say this, though, not from a business standpoint, but just from a guy trying to protect his friends and family and the LPDS community here. Don't listen to that bullshit. Okay? Their final hours, you'll be with them. They'll be alive in their final hours. After they are dead, their hours are up. They're over. They're up. They're over. I tried to say up and over separately. I ended up saying at the same time, and I said op. Their hours are done. They are gone. Okay? What happens from then on out as far as their tombstone and where they're buried and how many letters on the damn thing does not affect them whatsoever. Okay? They will not feel bad. They're not going to say be mad at you. They are dead. Okay? Don't let the sleazy cemetery salespeople try to pull the double guilt on you. And the double guilt is where they guilt you into thinking that you're going to get guilted by your dead parents for not going all out on their tombstones. Oh, you want them to have the nicest stuff. You want them to be mad that you cheaped out on their tombstone obituaries, epitaphs, right? Don't let them double Italian guilt you. All right? Save your money. Okay? You should not be spending $60,000 on a dead person to bury the dead. That is ridiculous. Save your money. Go and use the money that you have saved, whether it's inheritance money or whatever, to go enjoy your life and make memories and live for them. Okay? You really want to do them a favor? Go live your life happily. Enjoy it. Okay? Spend the time with your other family. Don't piss your money away on a rock in a grass patch that says, "Here lies Sausage Sal. I'll never forget him. I hope he looks down on this tombstone and is happy with the fact that I spent $65,000 on gold-plated lettering on this tombstone, and he knows that it went to a good place and that I did the right thing by him and took care of him, even though he's dead and this is just a skeleton with a couple gold chains around the neck." Don't be stupid, okay? Now, from a business standpoint, if I did own a cemetery and I was selling plots, think about what your parents would say, what your family would say, what your spouse would say if you didn't take care of them in their final hours and come buy a cemetery plot from Tony Rigatoni and the gang, okay, at Riggs's cemetery, Riggs's gravesite. I got to think of a good name for that, a good business name. Anyway, that's all I got on that. All right. Before we go, by the way, we bought the plot, we bought the tomb, and then we hit the diner after. Ended up being okay. I had a great set, a great joke set at the cemetery, killing. And then we finish it off in the diner. So not a bad adventure with the family. Anyway, before we go, the big three. The three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being. Number one, exercise every day. Whether it's physical, mental, or emotional exercise, do one thing each day to improve your health and wellness and fitness physically, mentally, or emotionally. So whether it's a workout, jumping jacks, going for a walk, whether it's a breaking a mental sweat, reading a book, doing a crossword puzzle, or an emotional workout, praying, meditating, doing breath work, whatever it is, do one thing every day to improve your health and wellness physically, mentally, emotionally. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty person. Be a kind person, okay? Everything on the internet here is constantly blasting us all day, every day, and on our phones with negativity and chaos and shit. All I'm asking you to do is to realize you're in that situation, realizing you're in that angry, emotional state, detach from your emotions, and omit yourself from that situation and don't respond to it at all. Okay? Just by the act of not responding to that, you're removing yourself from the negative situations. Okay. And you're giving yourself the mental capacity and the free space to go focus on more productive and positive things in your lives. So go do it. Go focus on the productive stuff. The more you do that, okay, the more you remove yourself from the negative and put yourself in the positive and productive, the better off you're going to be. Okay. And the better off everybody else is because you're minimizing the negativity and the shit going on in the ether, in the world. So do that. Number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. Okay. And you can start this out just by thinking of one thing in the beginning of your day that's good in your life. And then think about what your life would be like without that thing and how shitty it would be. Did I say how good your life would be without that thing? I meant how shitty your life would be without that thing. Okay, that puts you in an immediate state of gratitude. Okay. And the more you do that throughout the day, the more times you take a few seconds to actively think about that stuff, the more and more you're going to be living in that state of gratitude, as opposed to living in that state of taking things for granted and assuming everything's going to be there tomorrow and that you're going to be there tomorrow. Because that's not a guarantee. All right. You never know when that good thing is going to be gone. You never know when somebody important in your life is going to drop dead, and now you're out there in the cemetery haggling with this sleazy salesman about prices for mausoleums and tombs and display cases. And they're going to prey on your emotions. So be grateful for the good you have in your lives now. Okay. And if you do all these three things together, a little bit each and every day, you're going to be better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being. You can spread that goodness and positivity throughout the land. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends and enemies. If you made it this far in the episode, go check out the Spearhead Leadership YouTube. Let me know what you think of that. That's on the business end of things, not the LPDS end. But tell your friends and enemies about the show. Hit the hotline, 202-670-1114. Call it up with questions, comments. You can prank call it. You can send the phone number to a spammer so they can spam my line with it, 202-670-1114, and we'll have a good time with it. I love the hotline calls, and I've been sad I've been missing them lately. So thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.